a2 pawn.
That's right.
But these are one-move threats, Aman. At this point, Hikaru is basically resorting to making one-move threats and just hoping for a blunder. Not a bad strategy by any means.
And 62,000 people are here with us, Danny, and we welcome all of you if you're just joining. But hopefully you've been here the whole time, because this is an insane finish that we're seeing, a must-win game for Hikaru Nakamura, as so many things going on in this position, Daniel.
This is as hype as it gets. There's money, there is pride, there is everything on the line. Queen on A8 by Wesley. He is keeping his composure, Aman, and he's doing an amazing job of it. Hikaru has made backward progress in the last 10 moves. The only thing you could argue is that he's brought Wesley's clock to 30 seconds, but that increment is going to save Wesley's life here.
It is, but Hikaru Nakamura still has to be content that he's getting something in his direction. The time getting lower will only increase the chances. However, the trickiest piece in his position is the knight on e8, and he can't move it.
And the second trickiest pieces are his pawns. If all the pawns disappear, then it's an easy draw. He tries to win the g5 pawn. Wesley could just chuck the pawn and say, hey, I'm weakening your king permanently. I think you should play g6 here. He goes queen h1 instead.
And that pawn can be taken. And look, if you're Hikaru Nakamura, you don't have time to look at all the repercussions of what will happen if I take. Well, if I don't lose a piece here, I want to take that pawn.
No, you have to take that pawn. I think that added onus of having your passed pawn in f7 is going to contribute to the stress of defending this if you're Wesley, but his queen is as active as it's ever been.
Yeah, and be careful of rook to e6. You don't want to play a move like, well, bishop e4 covers things, but yeah, you're just in time. Bishop c6 is where he wants to place that piece.
And I think the rook is going to move to e6, but then the king can slide over to d3, defending and unpinning at the same time.
Queen g8 as well is going to hit that f7 pawn in such a weird way, right? Rook to e7, defending it, it just doesn't feel comfortable.
The way Wesley has used his queen to attack Hikaru's pawns has been so impressive. I'd also point to the move bishop d5.
Yep.
That could combine with queen g8 and just win the game outright.
That's right. Bishop c6, queen g8 also might tie black down the defense of that knight on e8 so much that you just can't move in order to win.
Yeah, and bishop e5, Hikaru again, he's trying to find that arrangement where he's defending everything and you know, exerting pressure on Wesley's position, but that's such a tall order. I feel like you can do one or the other, but can he find a way to do both?
Moves are going to be coming in rapid fire here, as this is the mark of a strong player. Can you coordinate three pieces that are often hanging all at once?
And they are hanging. Wesley brings his bishop back to d3, his king all the way back to d1. Hikaru keeps trying. I think he's making some progress. Now the knight moves to d5. Aman, there's so many forks here.
Get the queen and king.
Get it out of there.
In like
6 seconds.
Yeah, get them far away from each other. We need a long-term relationship
2 seconds.
Here.
Bishop e4, he's got to move. Oh my God.
Queen down to c8 or something? What's going on here? Knight f4, knight e3. I'm so scared of a fork here.
And with 4 seconds, this is the worst case scenario by Wesley, and it's coincided with the peak of activity of Hikaru's pieces. Bishop f6.
This is exactly where he wants the game. In a time scramble, 4 seconds for Wesley.
And he's got 20. He's got enough time to figure out a tactic or a fork. 20 seconds for Hikaru is 5 hours for somebody else. The king's zigzagging and meandering its way between black's pieces and chasing the knight away from c3.
That's right. If it goes back to d5, we might see maybe bishop c4. It takes the pawn. I'm not sure about that decision.
Because now the queen's going to go to c6, and if you lose the c7 pawn, you basically lose your winning chances.
That's right. We could see bishop to g5.
King c2 only move.
Yep. You want to be far away from a knight check, so diagonal is great.
Now queen c6 runs into rook c5, so maybe slide the queen all the way over to a8, and he does.
Queen g8 is a kind of a backdoor move.
Instead, he backdoors it to c6. The knight moves back to d7. Again, rook c5 is a huge problem. Wesley might have to move his king.
No, this is getting very good for Hikaru. He might even try bishop to e5 to defend c7.
Hikaru just keeping the tension and keeping the tension. He's got 50 moves before the 50 move rule comes into effect. That's what he wants, but he's lost the f7 pawn.
That was not as planned. Bishop e6.
Oh, no. This might signify the end of Hikaru's winning chances.
Knight to e5. Is he not getting mated there?
And the king's sliding back to b1. Look how expertly, how deftly Wesley sidesteps all the forks, and now the knight as passive as it's ever been.
And be careful not to lose your rook to a fork.
Oh, bishop c6 is coming. Now Wesley might flat out be playing for a win.
Yep, that's right. But he doesn't even need to win. Trust me, if there's a draw on the table, Daniel, his hand is extending.
Grabbing that.
Yeah.
1 second now for Hikaru. He's just trying to prevent
perpetual. Queen c4, the rook! The rook has been hung by Hikaru, and he's up, and he is out of the playing hall.
Oh my God, what a finale.
Oh my goodness. That was the end of his chances there. He needed that rook, but so hard to keep it, Daniel, with the queen having checks all over the open board.
Hikaru did everything within his power and everything not within his power. The fact that he got this to a time scramble as the incredulous smile of relief by Wesley So.
Wesley knows that he dodged a bullet there, Danya, as that was surely a win out of the opening for Wesley So, and the improbable done by Hikaru